Let's get into it. I have with me Marilyn Smith, Janice Meredith, Kathie Donovan, Dr. Marjorie Dixon. Oh, I'm so happy to have you ladies with us right now. It's time to talk about the dirty truth about menopause, because we've been saying no one's talking about it, or if we're talking about it, it's always negative. This might skew a little negative, this segment, but I promise we're going to get around to the good stuff. So let's start with hot flashes. We heard from the tape, people experience it in different ways. Some women from toe to head. Some people get the upper lip sweat. My thing is very much back of the neck. Maybe if it's really bad, some sweat trickling down my back. And it's usually easy for them to subside if I've got a good amount of cool air, like my kitchen air conditioner is the spot. Yeah. That's where I go. If someone's irritated me, like I've noticed that sometimes that will trigger a hot flash, irritation. Sometimes it was definitely the wine. It was white wine for me. So I just go find my spot and from the air conditioner, or I go out to the front porch. Everyone leave mommy alone. And then it usually goes away. Mare, how about you?
Okay, so my only 2 hot flashes I ever had.
Yes.
But you remember
2 in your whole life.
In my whole life.
Okay.
And I'm not bragging. It's just because, you know, I think it was be very proactive.
Truth.
You know, fitness, eating, the whole
yes.
thing. Was that the red wine thing. And then like a volcano. And then I was like, was that the wine, or, you know, is something going on?
Yes.
So I had another one, same thing.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I'm very postmenopausal. I am so post. Like, I went through menopause really early.
Okay.
I was finished by about 44.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty early.
When did it start?
Around 38, you know,
38
looking
to
back.
44,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, really early.
All right.
But I got to tell you, I have never felt better in my life. So there is happiness over the rainbow. Oh, yeah.
And you're postmenopausal.
I'm postmenopausal. Okay. And the big one is that when I was PMSing, I was always thinking I was fat and ugly and I had no friends. You know, every single month I would go like, and then I go get my period and go, oh, that was that. For like, how many years? Like, duh. But then I don't get those mood swings anymore.
Yes, that's
and I
beautiful.
don't care. So you think I'm fat and ugly and I have no friends. That's okay. That's fine.
Oh, I love that.
I'm my own best friend. So,
And that's interesting that you didn't necessarily know immediately what the hot flash was, because I was the same sort of way. Yeah. And Janice, so were you. Yes. So you were getting them. What do you think it was?
Well, it was in the middle of COVID, and somehow, you know, we hadn't had COVID.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe we have had COVID, and maybe this is just long COVID. And like, I literally remember being at home, and like, it is an internal switch. I went from 0 to 100, or actually maybe 0 to 1,000 in like a second, and it just erupted. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot. And I'm like, maybe this is long COVID. And then it lasted for about a week and a half, and I was like, I'm like, okay, moving on. And then, as I was more aware of it, and then I was going back, and I'm like, oh, that was that, that was that, that was that. And it was so upsetting that I'm like, how did I not know?
Yeah.
Like, how did I not know? So I'm so happy that we're doing this. It could be like a week-long special. I think we have enough to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. And I will actually say a couple of things. You didn't know because we're not talking about it. And it will be something that we recurrently, like, we're going to talk about it again and again and again on the show. Part of the reason we're doing this is, like, I'm stepping out and saying I will lead by talking about my own truth. I know it's scary for women to do that, but we're going to keep doing that on this show, because when I used to think of menopause, I thought of granny. Right?
Yes.
It's not, I'm not a granny. There's nothing wrong with grandma, but I'm not one. So it's like I'm in the prime of my life, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I'm not going out like this. Like, I am going out feeling good. I felt good in my 20s and my 30s, and I'm feeling good in my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. So give me all the drugs or all the things I need to know. Give me all the knowledge, because I'm not going out like that. So speaking of, like, having sort of a good moment in menopause or postmenopause, Kathie, you say this is like the best time of your life.
Postmenopausal, absolutely. And yes, I am having the best time of my life. A lot of the feelings that you talked about, you know, when you were in perimenopause with the I'm fat and ugly, I have no friends, I didn't know what that was, but I just believed it was what my voice wanted to tell me. So I've grown a lot in confidence through the transition of menopause. And when I figured out what the triggers were and avoided them, it minimized the hot flashes. So it wasn't so uncomfortable.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's definitely a mind connection.
Yes,
because I can make mine worse or better with my brain.
Yes, yes.
It's very true.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so we've talked about flashes, we've talked about triggers, we've talked about feeling good. We have not talked about sex, y'all. Let's get into it, because we all know in our lives, like, it ebbs and flows. It's totally totally normal for your libido to go up and down. I find even though I am having hot flashes, I'm definitely irritable, I still want to have sex, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like more than before, which is shocking to me. I didn't think at this phase I'd be into it. Like I can get in a fight with Leo and still want to have sex with him. I never used to be able to do that. and then just be like, I'll be mad at you. I'll be mad at you again after we're done sex. Let's just get it done. Okay, so you're sort of in a similar phase, Marjorie, in the sense that you haven't had the hot flashes, you haven't had any kind of vaginal dryness, but you're on top of it, so it doesn't happen.
On top of it. I talk about loving your vagina every day because, like death and taxes, dry vaginas do come.
They are going to
When
come.
estrogen goes away, your vagina gets dry. It can be dry on the outside, it can dry on the inside. Like people talk about it. And people will stop me on the street and tell me, you saved my vagina by talking about daily vaginal hygiene.
Okay, well listen up, people, and take notes.
People in the back.
Daily, preach, daily vaginal hygiene is key because it does get drier. And so you can use moisturizer for your face, use moisturizer for your vagina.
Yeah.
Every single day baseline. And then for the big moments of penetration, you use the lubricant. And then other than that, feel your vagina. Like you can feel it get dry. As a gynecologist, I can look at a vagina and be like, menopause, perimenopause, premenopause.
Okay.
I can. And so you can feel the difference. And as soon as you start to feel it, vaginas do not need a funeral in menopause. Have fun. Because you can have a lot of fun sexually. You can have more fun. A lot of women will express, like, I really enjoy sex. I'm afraid of it falling off after menopause. I'm like, nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
Just maintain her. You'll be fine.
Okay, so maintenance, explore, people. You know what that means. Have some fun. Thank you so much for your candor and your honesty, all of you. We've got a lot more of that coming up on today's show. I should just apologize to my parents now. Sorry, guys.